Okay, today is Tuesday, January 11th, 2022. I call the village board meeting to order. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Trustee Feichter?
Here.
Trustee Frankie?
Here.
Trustee Listner?
Here.
Trustee Miller?
Here.
Trustee Prochnow?
Here.
Okay, we do have a quorum tonight, and again, Happy New Year to everyone. We start off 2022 hopefully on a good step. A little cold out there, icy.
It is.
I mean, you ever see this snow? It's like a sheet of ice everywhere. It's like,
Very shiny.
yeah, at night when you're driving, it's different. Okay, with that said, we do not have an invocation tonight, but we will do the Pledge of Allegiance. Everyone please stand. The flag is to my right. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated. We move on now to the approval of the minutes of December 14th, 2021.
I move to approve the minutes of the regular village board meeting held on December 14th, 2021, and submitted and dispensed with the reading. And submitted.
Second.
We have a motion by trustee Lister, a second by trustee Feichter. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Let the record show unanimous approval. Move on now to the Mayor and Board of Trustees report. Had just a few items, let's see, not a whole lot before during the holidays. Jane is here, Jane Grega, and Mary's here. They'll talk about the wreaths across America that happened on December 18th. Chilly but nice weather. It turned out good crowd. So Jane's gonna address the board about that in a little bit, so we won't say more than that. And I'm trying to see here. That is about it for that. I know we are here, holidays, everyone's talking about COVID. I'm gonna keep very minimal what I say at this time. Let's be honest, folks, everyone in this country is frustrated. Everyone in this country is confused and all that. I'm gonna say now, my family went through COVID, including the mayor, over the holidays. And show you where you get your confusion. If you listen to the government, they said on the holidays, because it can be super spreader times, all that, try to keep it with just your immediate family, check people vaccinated. So we got together, all 4 kids, the 8 grandkids, Lori and I got together, 18 of us, and 14 of us ended up with COVID within 3 days. So we all went through it, grandkids, adults, all vaccinated, everyone boosted, even some of the grandkids were vaccinated. Because remember, the grandkids, some aren't even eligible for vaccination. They're too little. We all got it. And trust me, if to sit at home all those days, you get time to think, you get frustrated. Because I can remember last May when the President of the United States proudly said, vaccinated, double vaccinated, take the mask off. And then the CDC director comes out and says, if you're vaccinated with 2 shots, you can't catch it, you can't give it, you don't carry it, everything's free. Well, we're all vaccinated, boosted. We not only got it, we had to give it to each other too, I'm sure. So it's very frustrating out there. I know people get mad at us sometimes, because we say, hey, mask optional and all that. The bottom line is this: Illinois is the most masked state in the country. Yeah, if you look at the paper, on December 30th, front page headline of the Herald says 5.8% of the nation's new cases in a week, Illinois, 5.8. We're 3rd in the country, only behind Florida and California. So we're the 3rd worst state, yet we have the most mask mandated state in the country. We should be the 3rd best state, but we're not. So a lot of these ideas, people just don't know. And again, we're not saying don't wear a mask, we're saying it's your option to wear a mask. We're not denying you the right to wear a mask. Wear it if you want to. But vaccines, again, I believe in them. I got them. I got boosted. My family all got it. They all got boosted. Didn't stop us from getting the. I know it's much less. We don't know if it's less or not. Bottom line is we got it, unfortunately. But we got through it, and everyone's doing fine. So I know I told the board I just don't like what's happening to young people. I don't like what's happened in this country. I don't, think about it. We now have to show vaccination proof. So what we're saying is, if you're not vaccinated, you can't go to restaurants, you can't go to movies, you can't go work out, you can't go to certain events. We're creating a separate class of people in this country now. Are we gonna now give them their own places to live? Are they gonna have their own colonies to live in? Come on, folks, we gotta, it's frustrating. It's, it's not funny. That's the sad part. It's sad what's going on. And it's just not right. And people, they change every day. And you get one guy saying one thing, another guy saying another thing. Well, this doctor says this doctor says that. You got a Supreme Court justice who you have the biggest faith in these people. They're the ultimate decision makers of our laws and all this, saying there's 100,000 kids, and the CDC director comes out 2 days later saying, no, only 3,500 kids are sick. I mean, no one, if I sound frustrated and upset, I am. I'll be honest with you, I am. I'm getting tired. And I have faith in people to do what they think is right and the best. And you take care of yourself. And like I say, I've said this since last January for a year, vaccinate, vaccinate, vaccinate. I believe in vaccinations, Maybe they did make mine less, my wife's, my kids, my grandkids. Maybe it did. I believe in it. But, some of this other stuff's got to stop. I mean, it's ridiculous. We're hurting businesses and everything else in the world. And then the hypocrisy. It's funny, one of our daily papers here talk all the time about masks, 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 but every single day on the front page of the sports sections, on the front page of the paper, you see nothing but local kids playing sports with a mask around the chin. They don't even have a mask on. I haven't seen them once say, why aren't these kids wearing their masks? But they get mad at us if we say masks should be optional. Yeah, they're all over the place. Paper prints it, it's their picture, there's more kids. Every day, all over the place. The hypocrisy. So, well, I'm gonna be positive, Mr. Knickerbocker. We're getting through this. We're all gonna get through it. We're all gonna be good. Thank God Omicron's much less impact on people when they get it. It's nowhere near as severe as the Delta and the other ones. Our hospital numbers, the patients aren't as sick as they were. A lot of these patients in hospitals don't go in with COVID. They just find out they have COVID when they're in for something else. Hopefully we can start getting the facts straight, the truth out there, and we move on. But it's got to happen soon. So I'm sorry,
That was
board.
your positive?
Yeah, it's positive we got to move on. We're going to get this done and move on. So I'm sorry. I told the board I had almost nothing to say, but I get just frustrated because I look at my grandkids and I see how they talk, what they say, how they do things, and the impact on them. And I see businesses getting hurt. Businesses are getting hurt out there, folks. These are good people. They mean well. I mean, we just do things. And then I feel sorry. Some people truly don't believe they want to get vaccinated for medical reasons, religious. I respect that. But now we're going to treat them like they're lepers. We're going to have leper colonies popping up again, like they had 200 years or 2,000 years ago. I mean, it's not right, And then they wait 15 days to enforce it because they want to get the money from the big tax days of New Year's Eve. Those are super spreader events. Those are days they shouldn't do it. If you want to truly protect people, don't let them get together New Year's Eve. Make them show, no, they don't. They wait till after that so they can get the money. It's hypocrisy. Okay, I'm sorry. Trustees report. Trustee Miller.
Thank you, Mayor. Actually, I agree with you, and we do need to move on in this world because it's going to stay with us. So that being said, I have something feel good. On Sunday, January 9th, I just wanted to say to the law enforcement department that it was Appreciation Day. And I wanted to say thank you to the law enforcement department of the village because they do keep us safe and happy. So that's my report.
That concludes your report?
Yeah.
Very good, thank you. One last thing, and Trustee Miller brought it up. She's right. Remember we talked about 8 months ago, Mr. Knickerbocker, I asked you, what's the only virus in the history of mankind that was eradicated?
Smallpox.
Smallpox, because it didn't bridge to animals.
Right.
COVID's in animals. COVID's here for perpetuity. We've got to learn to live with COVID, just like we live with SARS, just like we live with swine flu, and all the other stuff out there. We have to learn to live with it. You're exactly right. And the sooner we do that, the better off we're going to be. Trustee, I tried. I truly did. Trustee Frankie.
I would just like to thank the mayor even though he kept apologizing for his report, this still is the shortest one he's given in probably in perpetuity. So I would just like to thank you for, now if you keep giving a report after every one of our reports, then it's still not gonna count, but thank you very much, that's all I have.
The problem was, I had 10 days at home,
I know.
far too much time.
Why do you think we dreaded this?
Far too much thinking. I mean,
We were all looking for a cure.
yeah, we were.
Well,
Trustee Feichter.
Something you said about that we're going to have to learn to live with. I just read today, I think it was, that in Great Britain now, that's the policy that they think they should adopt. Instead of calling it a pandemic, they want to call it an endemic. They said it's going to be just like the flu, and people should regard it as such and learn to live with it because we aren't going to get rid of it. That's something I read today coming out of Britain. So it's a tough time we're going through. And one of the big areas that is really is hurting us right now is the effect it's having on adults and kids' mental health. And there's a lot of things that have been written lately about that, and it's really having an effect. And I know our mayor is very much clued into things that are happening with right now, the big jump in kids that are taking medications that they shouldn't, that some of them many are dying with it, with the opiate deaths. And then also some of the things that we're finding out is that some of the people coming to the Elk Grove Cares are coming now with alcohol problems that they didn't have before. So, yeah, it's a tough time. It really is. And that concludes my report.
You know, you bring up about kids. The CDC just released, since the beginning of the COVID, January of 2020 through December 29th of 2021, so it's 2 years, age 0 to 18, 803 children died of COVID. In the last full year of the flu, 2018-19, 745 kids died of the flu. So twice as many kids die of flu every year than COVID. And I know they say, that kids are getting the Omicron, but it's obviously, as was said by the CDC, only 3,500 kids were in the hospital, not the 100,000 the Supreme Court justice said. So it's not the same effect. But I show you how goofy this world is. I'm sorry. I got too much watching and reading too much. Quebec in Canada. In Quebec, Canada, they passed a law that you could not buy alcohol or marijuana if you weren't vaccinated. The number of people that got vaccinated in the first 10 days after that law went into effect tripled. So people willing to get vaccinated to get marijuana and alcohol, but they don't want to do it. I'm just saying, it's a goofy world how we, but yeah, so you had to be vaccinated to get that stuff, and the numbers tripled, so they knew something they were doing, I guess. I don't know. Trustee, these are all facts. Look it up, folks. I've been reading too much stuff on the computer. Trustee Listener.
Thank you, Mayor. A few days ago, I listened to the latest Strictly Business podcast. It was just released, I believe, on the 5th of January. Our mayor is interviewed by Nick Radcliffe, and the subject was the 2021 year in review. And it was only, 24 minutes, so you did pretty good on that, Mayor. But
They had a clock. They had a clock keeping track of it, so.
Can we get one?
Common theme in some of these reports.
That's good.
well, I didn't mean to say it that way, Mayor. But anyway, if you get a chance, it's worth listening to. You can get the podcast. It can be found at egvbizhub.com, or there's a link on to EGV Biz Hub on the Elk Grove org website, or you can get it from Apple iTunes or Google Play, depending on what type of phone you have. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. No comment. Trustee Prochnow.
Well,
Oh, wow. All right. Well, I also kind of contracted the COVID last week. I was home. The mayor and I talked on the phone about our situation, and I don't think I did anything wrong. I masked up. I had my vaccinations. I had my booster. I truly believe that everybody's going to be exposed to this and have it in one shape or form or another in their lifetime. And I believe that the vaccinating and the booster shot actually made my case very mild. My husband didn't get it, my children didn't get it. There's no rhyme or reason, I have no idea where I contracted it from, but I got through it, and now I'm stronger because of it. So moving on to the rest of my report, I know at last month's meeting, I did my usual soapbox snow report about shoveling snow in the bad weather, and I said it was coming, and boy, it came this past week with a vengeance. And I was really pleased to see, as I went out to walk the dog, that the majority of the residents shoveled their sidewalks. It was very safe to walk on the sidewalks after the snow, and people were helping out their neighbors, and I was very comfortable. And then Saturday night, the ice storm hit, and everything turned into a skating rink. So now I'm adding to my request, when you get out there to shovel, if you think that there's slippery spots, please try and salt the sidewalks too, because it was really dangerous this past week, and we can all help one another out. I'm getting up there, and I don't want to be taking any chances falling on it and breaking a hip or something, so please be careful of your sidewalks and your shoveling. And the other thing, as a reminder, the farmer's market is back. It's always the first and third Saturday of the month at Christus Victor Church across from the theater, and it's 8 a.m. to 1 p.m., and they have a lot of tables there, a lot of different vendors, some fresh produce, so take advantage and go get some fresh stuff and support our farmer's market. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. And by the way, the board members, we didn't all skate down to Florida to avoid mask rules and stuff, did we? We all stayed here, so we did good with that. Kobe, guys did a great job.
Awesome.
That ice storm was not easy to handle, and your guys stayed on top of it. I know put a lot of salt down and all that, so thank you, you guys. That's a tough one. That ice was,
Still
Still
brutal.
is.
It's still
yeah,
brutal out there.
it's,
Still tough,
Yeah,
yeah.
until
Yeah.
the sun hits
You-
some of that. Or
sometimes
maybe
you
this
step
week.
and you slip, and
Oh, yeah, I'm sure
and you
there were
can't
a
see
lot
it.
of people in
You
the
can't see it.
And try
Tom
walking a
Robbs,
120-pound dog with a mind of his own and going, slow, step,
Craig.
step.
Tom Robb's father ended up in the hospital falling on the ice.
oh, really, Tom? Is he okay? Breaking ribs, trust me, I know that. That is the most uncomfortable injury because every time you breathe, you push on the brake. Well, tell him we'll say a prayer for him. Thank you. Okay, anything else from trustees? COVID, anything like that? Let me see. Actually, I did go through all of our stuff here, folks, so. Okay, move on now to the accounts payable warrant. First, December 31st, 2021.
I move to authorize payment of the December 31st, 2021 accounts payable warrant in the amount of $10,858,319.38.
We have a motion by trustee Listener, second?
Second,
Second by trustee Fighter. Jen, will you call the roll, please?
Trustee Frankie?
Aye.
Trustee Listener?
Aye.
Trustee Miller?
Aye.
Trustee Prochnow?
Aye.
Trustee Feichter?
yes.
Okay, motion passes 5-0. Consent agenda, account payable warrant for January 11th, 2022.
I move to authorize payment of the January 11th, 2022 accounts payable warrant in the amount of $1,091,378.43.
Second,
We have a motion by trustee Listener, second by trustee Fighter. Without objection, record the votes, please demonstrate it. 5-0. Move on now, consent agenda items tonight. And our consent agenda items tonight are A as in apple through P as in Paul. I need a motion.
So moved.
Second?
We have a motion by trustee Frankie, second by trustee Listener. Any questions, comments from any board members or staff?
Just that, did you know they print on both sides of the paper here?
Well, some people. Mine are not.
Oh,
Mr. Knickerbocker, yours on both sides?
No, they're not.
Mr. Rummel? Oh, okay.
so there's a
Well,
plot. Is that what you're saying?
You know, not only do we have now lepers for vaccinations, we now have lepers on the boards getting paper on front side, back side. So.
Very confusing.
Okay, anything else on consent agenda? Anybody in the audience on consent agenda? Hearing none, seeing none, we record the votes, please demonstrate it. 6-0. Pardon? 5-0. Thank you, Mr. Knickerbocker. No items regular agenda, Plan Commission, Zoning Board, Mr. Rummel?
Happy New Year, Mayor and Board of Trustees. There are no items under the Plan Commission portion of the agenda, but there is one item under the Zoning Board of Appeals this evening. The homeowners at 655 New Mexico Trail want to replace their existing 4-foot-high chain link fence with a decorative aluminum wrought iron style open fence. To do that, it would require a zoning variation because of the impact on the neighboring property owners. So that triggered a public hearing before the zoning board. The zoning board met on December 15th, and they issued a report to the village board recommending that the village board do grant a variation for the new fence. I do see that the homeowner is in the audience this evening, should you have any questions. Otherwise, a motion to direct the village attorney to prepare the necessary documents would be in order.
First off, does any board members have any questions for the petitioner? Thank you for coming tonight, we appreciate it. Nothing, apologize for starting late, Mr. Knickerbocker apologized personally. Okay, I need a motion to have attorney prepare necessary documents.
So moved.
Second?
Motion by trustee Lister, second by trustee Feichter, all in favor signify, say aye.
Aye.
Let the motion show unanimous approval. You do not need to return. On January 25th, we will formally adopt it, but it'll be part of the consent agenda. We always say if you want to start now, you have a permission. If you want to go out in the cold and start, that's fine. But you're good to go. We thank you for working with the village, with the zoning board. Appreciate your time, and we appreciate you investing back in your property to make it better. It's going to be a very nice looking fence when done. We appreciate that very much. So thank you again. I'm very sorry, ma'am. There's no one right by you.
When she can pull the permits.
No, you take your mask for a second.
She wants to know when they can pull the permit.
Tomorrow. Yeah, you can go as soon as you want to. Thank you. I apologize. I'm partially deaf, so I do apologize. Thank you. Okay. Oh, and by the way, just go to the engineering department right there, and they'll be able to take care of you. Not now, but I mean tomorrow or later. Okay, thank you. Mary, get up there. You may have a customer. You may have a customer. Okay, Recycling Waste Committee, trustee Feichter.
We are still collecting until the end of April, any used Christmas wiring, lights like that. There's a basket out there. It's got a bunch of them in there right now. You're more than welcome to drop them off here at the village if you have any that you don't want. And we get usually an awful lot of people that do drop off lights that they're not going to be using again. Also, you know, the village collects batteries there. If you have any batteries at home, a lot of times people have a lot of ones that get used up over the Christmas holiday and everything. So don't throw them in the garbage. That's bad. It's bad for the environment. Just drop them off here. And again, also any unused medicines that you have in your home, you can, prescription medicines, just drop them off right over by where the police area is. There's a box there. It looks like a mailbox. You can dump them right in there. And when they get enough of them, they take them out and incinerate them. They don't, you know, if you want to leave your names on them, you can. If you don't want to, you can scratch them off. But it's, a lot of people do that. A lot of people. So it's a good thing. Any of those things like that are very, very helpful for the environment. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Judiciary Planning Zoning Committee, trustee Prochnow.
No report.
Capital Improvements Committee, trustee Schmidt's not here. Any board members have any report for him? Okay. Cable Television Committee, trustee Listener.
Thank you. I have I have a very short report. At their last meeting, I mentioned the increase by Comcast going into effect. We got a letter from AT&T UVerse that they have an increase going into effect January 23rd. The reasons I saw were very similar to Comcast. Some of their programming and other issues are getting more expensive for them. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Youth Committee, trustee Frankie.
Actually, I have two things. Yesterday, the youth committee got together at the Park District with the Park District Youth Committee, and we discussed the upcoming events for the year. We still plan on having our 2 splash parties in the summer for the junior high and high school kids, and we discussed our bonfire that's always been canceled for the last 3 years because of weather. So we're looking at doing something different, possibly with smaller, like fire pits and doing something at another area where we don't have to have a huge fire, where the kids can actually make s'mores and do things like that. So we're discussing that. And we look forward to picking some dates for the splash party as soon as the Aquatic Center has their meetings and can get their hours set. And then also, it's that time again for the scholarships. We have 7 $1,000 scholarships we give away, 5 from the village and 2 from the Park Foundation. So if you're interested for some free money and $1,000 to go towards school, you can go to Elk Grove High School, Conant High School, St. Viator, or come to our website at the village and look up the scholarship forms. We need to have them back by May 6th. That will be the cutoff day, Friday, May 6th, and the winners will be notified the week of June 6th. So please get your applications, don't wait till the end. It seems like everybody hesitates, and some people have missed the deadline. So if you're thinking about doing it, get hold of the forms and fill it out and get it. And you need to be an Elk Grove resident. You don't have to go to a 4-year college, 2-year college. You could go to trade school. We just have to be shown a paid tuition receipt. So I'll be talking about this probably for the next 4 months. So this is the start. The forms are ready. So go and get them. That's all I have.
Thank you. Information Committee, Trustee Miller.
Real quick, I just urge the residents to stay connected, and if you go to the village website, you'll see the community page, you'll see communications and outreach. Click on that, you'll see Twitter pages for the village, and as you said, Trustee Listener, the Strictly Business where the podcast was, and I actually did listen to it as well. But you'll see the police have a Twitter page, Facebook pages. The police and fire also have Facebook pages, and also you can get e-notifications at any time. Please sign up for those because they're very helpful. And as always, we have a monthly newsletter coming out. So please stay connected. That's my report.
Thank you. And don't put my, what I said tonight about COVID up on our Twitter page, because they'll probably banish me from it, so don't want to have that happen.
Do you even know what it is?
Huh?
Twitter?
I know what a twit is.
Okay. Don't look at me and say that.
We move on to Business Leaders Forum. Trustee Schmidt, anybody have a report on his behalf?
I do. I just want to say that we are going to be meeting in February 16th and February 23rd.
Okay, thank you. Health and Community Services, Trustee Prochnow.
Thank you very much. On Saturday, January 8th, the village sponsored, with the help of Vitalent, a blood drive. The need was pretty desperate. We had gotten an email from the organization saying that they had very low blood supply measures and possibly were considering canceling all elective surgeries. But on the other hand, they state, Elk Grove Village shows up to save lives again. We collected 40 donations, and from initial reports, there were no deferrals. Remember, we thought we might not be that great early in the year, maybe less numbers because we are also having an employee blood drive later this month. We were thanked by Vitalent, and by the way, Vitalent is the new name for LifeSource. We didn't change.
What is it called?
It's called Vitalent.
Oh, okay.
I wondered about that for a while.
It's been like that for about a year and a half.
It's been that way, and I always thought that we changed, and then I found out, now that I've taken over Community Resources, that LifeSource just changed their name. So we are having our first employee blood drive later this month. We collected 40 donations, which is awesome. So congratulations to the people of Elk Grove for coming through and helping a lot of people in and outside of our community. And then just to remind everybody about our respite program called The Caring Place. It's at Christus Victor Church, 1045 South Arlington Heights Road. Caring Place is a program for caregivers to take the people that they're taking care of, to get a little break from them. They can drop them off on Mondays and Thursdays from 9:30 to 2:30 p.m. and get a little break, do some shopping, maybe go home and get something done. But it's a good break for both the respite carer and for the person being cared for. Any information that you need, call 847-437-2666. And you'll get some information on the cost and information on specific dates and times. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Trustee Prochnow. Personnel Committee, Trustee Jeffrey Charles Frankie.
All right, I'm going to have to ask a question to Maggie. We did pick a time, definite time for our personnel committee?
No, we'll set it, we decided 90 minutes prior to executive session.
Of the 25th, correct? Okay, so I don't have to make an official announcement on it? Okay, well, I've already made an announcement. We're having a personnel committee on the 25th, 90 minutes before our executive session.
January 25th.
What did I say?
You didn't say anything.
Oh,
Why don't someone show up on
I
June
said that-
25th?
well, I hope they do.
Is it executive session or is it?
It will be executive session.
So nobody's showing up.
Right.
Well, the committee members.
Well, we hope so.
Well, it depends. Okay, January 25th. Got that down. Thank you.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Airport update, we're still working with ONCC and hopefully getting a fly quiet rotation plan sometime in the future. It's gonna be a while to get through the FAA. Parade committee, our first meeting, we canceled a meeting back, on last night, January 10th. Our first meeting is gonna be on Monday, February 7th, and we look forward to, moving forward to that. What happened?
It's his birthday.
He was born that day.
Who was? Trustee Fighter?
Doing it on my birthday.
Oh, so you're gonna, oh, you know what'd be ideal? You want the parade? I mean, that would work out perfect for, that's great. Thank you, Trustee Fighter.
Well, we can celebrate a centennial.
Okay, Midsummer Concert Classic Series, Mr. Knickerbocker. It's been a month. We open up with Who on the 4th of July.
We getting the Who coming?
I wish.
Casey and the Sunshine Band.
Very
coming
good.
sometime.
Then our next concert will be at the Town Center here.
I didn't practice or study.
We don't have one running through the village. We have a creek.
Little River Band.
Very good. And then we have at the Rotary Fest, our first one over there.
Capital of Illinois.
Oh, Dusty Springfield or somebody Springfield? I don't know.
Rick Springfield.
Oh, Rick Springfield.
Rick Springfield?
Dusty's brother. Rick and Sheeny.
Just be careful, we don't want any lawsuits and stuff, so we'll move on. And the last,
Easton.
Sheen Easton, very good, they'll be our last concert. So, we're excited about the lineup,
You do a
looking
fine
forward to it
job,
on a
George.
beautiful January night. Think just 6 months from now, going on. And you never know what else might be happening this summer, so we'll just keep our eyes open and ears
No, we
ready,
don't.
see what happens. Okay, special events, our next one, I think, is not till Memorial Day. So, be over at the pavilion again like usual.
Yes, it will.
And they don't complain we're indoors, do they? Works out nice.
It took a while,
Yeah.
It works out good.
but you were right.
So,
Oh, don't do that.
that's very unusual. That's a very unusual thing. We don't, yeah. No liquor commission report tonight. Do want to remind everyone, I should have earlier, February 5th, the first Saturday in February, we'll have our coffee of the board like we always do from 9 to 11 down in room E. You do not need to show your vaccination ID to be at that. We do not require it. So everyone's welcome. Report from village manager, Mr. Rum, wait a minute, Mr. Rummel, before you start, we gotta do this at each board meeting now, since you only have 5 after tonight.
5 board meetings?
So we'll cross one off. So this, after tonight's manager report, only 5 left to go.
That's correct.
So your report?
I have great news for everyone this evening. I have no report.
Yeah.
Okay. Our village clerk, deputy clerk,
No
Jen?
report.
No report? Okay. Hey, June will be primary. No, I mean, it's March. Be June. Are we looking to get a, site again?
It hasn't received any information yet to confirm it, but we are an early voting site. But we anticipate that Village Hall will have early voting again for this election, but it hasn't been confirmed by Cook County.
Okay, well, hopefully do. You guys do a great job, you and Lori, and back when Judy was doing it and everyone else. It is so nice to have it right here in Oak Grove. It is such a plus. You guys do a great job. Thank you. Unfinished business, Mr. Knickerbocker, nothing under you as usual? Yep. New Year, same thing, nothing. Okay, any board members has any new business items they want to bring up tonight? We would have done really quick if we would have been on. Look at that. Even with my short abbreviated report.
With add-on, with add-on, with add-on.
Yeah, even though with the add-on, it still was one of the better ones.
Thank you. I do have a few more items, but
Yeah,
I've set aside.
don't
Set
ruin
aside.
it.
Okay, no items tonight? Okay, we go out for public comment. Hang on a second, Jane. Helen, everything good? Okay, everyone held up good? Well, a card, what, a vaccine card?
Ours-
Why would they have to have one there?
I
It's
think
not a
'cause of senior
restaurant, it's
center.
not a,
Senior center and preschools.
Yeah, I think senior centers and preschools are the same as, like, the health club and restaurants.
oh, so they're required to do it there too.
I think so.
Have you had a lot of, have
Not
you
all
lost?
park district.
Pardon?
Well, she was saying park district, but you were saying that all the athletic things they had during the week or weekend,
Yeah.
they didn't make anybody show downstairs like they had tumbling. You guys do it, but it's your center.
Now, at your place, most seniors are vaccinated, aren't they? I think in Oak Grove, like 90-some% are vaccinated.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But the pool, you don't have to show it,
probably because chlorine.
I guess.
Who knows?
Says Elk Grove Park District complying with the order requiring proof of vaccination or a negative test. Park District.
Oh, that's a newspaper. I
That's a
wouldn't believe what I read in the paper. Oh, my God. Oh, no. No. Oh. I'm joking, Tom. Tom gets his stories right, so I'm not, if it says anything, that must be the way it is. No, you're right, I'm sure. Okay, Jane, you want to talk to the board? Come on down. Okay, before Jane, hang on a second. Kobe wanted to remind me that there's a capital improvements committee meeting on January 24th. 10 a.m. On Devon? Public Works Bill in Devon. Thank you, Kobe, appreciate that. Okay, Jane, all yours. Just be glad today was not December 18th.
Oh, my goodness, isn't that true? Yeah, we had relatively good weather. We just wanted to come back and say thank you. Thank you, Chris, for your work helping us. We had a wonderful event, and the Wreaths Across America event, I should say, is what we're talking about, that we had on December 18th. Our wonderful police department directed traffic, thank you for handling that for us. And they told us we had 90 people, which, you know, on a cold day in December, to me, that's pretty great. It tells me that people in this village really care about our veterans. I think that's awesome. Thank you for handling the expenses of the shuttle bus for us.
But Jane, next year, check with trustee Listener on attendance.
Okay.
He's more accurate in the numbers.
Oh, is he? Okay.
Yes, much more accurate.
All right.
Just
So-
tell him what number you want. He'll give
Okay.
it to you.
That's how it works.
We got you covered, don't
Yeah.
worry. But no, it turned out beautiful. Thank you.
It was a great event.
Thank you. We learned a lot. It's amazing the history we have out there.
One of the best things I did this year was I have used our community Facebook pages to kind of market the event, promote, I should say, and let people know what we're doing. And you know, I asked our great village for a volunteer to take pictures for us. And one of the best pictures, I think, that came out of it is there are men from the fire department that came, and there's a wonderful picture of them saluting an unmarked grave. And at our cemetery, we have 3 veteran graves, which we know about because of Mary's research, and these graves have never been marked. And that that picture to me was just so beautiful and so poignant. And the women of our chapter, we've been doing some research to see, can we find a way for the Veterans Administration to get a marker for these men? And we have some news on one of them. Elk Grove Township now is a Veteran Service Officer, Walter Wilson, and we've been pulling together some research because there's quite a bit of information that you have to have before you can order a proper Veterans Memorial marker. And we're not family members. You know, there's really no reason we should be involved at all, except that we care about veterans. So when I first called Walter this week, he said, there's no way, but I'll make phone calls for you. He called me back an hour later and he said, we're gonna do it. So I thought it would be great just to take a couple minutes and tell you a little bit about Edward Lockett, no one would probably even remember him. He's been gone 52 years, World War I veteran. But now he's going to be remembered, and when that marker comes in and we lay it sometime this summer, we'll have a ceremony, and of course you'll all be invited. But I thought you'd be interested just to hear a little bit about Edward Lockett. Mary?
You check the records on the cemetery, and Edward Lockett is the only Lockett, one of the two Locketts actually in the cemetery. Along with him is his wife, Marjorie Scheringhausen. So that's how he made it into the area, was he's a Scheringhausen. He married into a Scheringhausen. Edward Lockett in 1918 was inducted into the Army and became a medic and was sent to France, to the front lines in France, and spent a little over a year in France. And then in 1919, he came back on one of the ships which was bringing back casualties from the war. His specific specialty in the medic end was taking care of those that were shell-shocked. So those that had combat injuries in the head and had injuries like that. So what he did was he took his normal transport going over there, but coming back, he came back on a medical transport ship, and he was in charge of all the patients who, he was a sergeant first class, in charge of all the patients that had mental issues relating to the war, which to me is probably the most difficult medical field to be dealing with, the injuries that you can't necessarily see. Came back here. Within a month, he was discharged. His patients went off to different hospitals. And he came back to here and married Marjorie Scheringhausen and lived for quite a while here. Didn't die until the 60s? 70s. 70s is when he passed away. He had a daughter, but his daughter has since passed away. So we've been unable to, at this time, locate any families. We're still going to go a little creative on seeing if we can have any families around when we do get a marker to put up for him. But to me, it's one of the saddest things is when you get a veteran out there who actually can get a free marker for their graves, and his grave is unmarked, as is his wife's. As it is right now, the VA will not only pay for putting his name on the marker, but also his wife's. So both of them, we'll just have the Cemetery Association put it right in between the two of them. We know where both of them are buried at exactly, so it'll be one more thing one more little good thing that came out of all this.
Did you find out what he did when he came back here? Did he live in what area he lived, or?
I did, but I, for the life of me, can't remember at this very moment. Are you better at that than me?
Yeah, he lived in Des Plaines, and he was a lead industrial engineer for a company in Des Plaines. And now I can't remember. I'm not prepared to answer that question. But
No, that's fine. I was just curious.
he had a great life, and so I don't know why there was never a marker for him. I don't know, but there will be now.
Did his wife die about the same time as him?
5
or-
years later.
How many?
5 years later.
Okay. Okay. Wow, that's great. And I'm surprised he didn't go in the medical field or something.
No.
Probably seen enough.
Yeah.
Very well could be. Could be that was just enough for him. He didn't want anything more along that way. And it could well also have been that he was an engineer to begin with. And
Yes.
the Army just had their own idea of what they wanted him to do. I know
Well,
that feeling.
My dad was a corpsman in the Navy. He didn't do anything medical when he came back. I mean, he stitched us up as kids, but he didn't do that after he came back. He went to business world. So, but that's interesting. So it's great. So there's two left you got to find.
Well, there are two unknowns, and that'll take a little more work.
You're not sure if are they military? You don't know if they're
They are military. There was, in 1920s, all the cemeteries were, 1950s, all the cemeteries were required by the state of Illinois to report the burials of any veterans within the cemetery. And the Cemetery Association, bless their heart, came down and said, we know we have 2 veterans that are unmarked. They gave them the list of all the other ones, but we know we have 2 that we don't know who they are. My bet is, from the timing of it all, they're probably Civil War. So I've been trying to go end around and things like that to see if I can find any records of any other soldiers that we know of from Elk Grove who died during the Civil War. One of the problems with the Civil War is that quite often, most of them are families, but we've got 2 out there that are Civil War deaths that have absolutely no relation to Elk Grove other than they were farmhands. And when they came back from the Civil War and died from their illness, all of them died from illness. they came back here to die, but they were farmhands, so they had, one of them was not even, I doubt that he spoke English, to tell you the truth. So they were drafted from here, and then, so I'm trying to go through the draft records of everyone from the area and seeing who didn't return.
So they would work for a farm, got drafted, went to war, and basically came back and died
Yes.
because they were ill from
They were
during the war.
ill from the war, and quite often, if they got ill enough, they would send them home to pass away. There are several of them that are like that, even the ones we know names of. So,
Interesting.
yeah,
And we're gonna look into that flooding issue for you
yeah, cool.
on that. So whether we can get the tollway to help us, or whatever, we'll see what we can find out.
That
Okay.
would be awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
And
Great
was
job.
an awesome ceremony. It was so, your help was just incredible. It was great.
We're glad to help. Thank you.
Last but not least, Pat Feichter, I think you'll be especially interested in this. We wanted to dispose of the wreaths properly. And so we finally found a goat farmer that will take the wreaths. So all the wreaths will be making goats happy. And it won't go into a landfill.
So goats eat wreaths?
They do, yes, apparently they do.
Yeah, they don't even require them to take the metal framing off. They just bring them over and the goats will clean off the framing for us. They said even leave the ribbons on because the goats eat that too.
Okay.
Oh, Jane, you'd be interested to know that Mayor Johnson took the flag that you gave us. It was donated that flew over Congress, and it's going to be on display permanently at Village Hall.
Yeah, we got a frame for it and everything.
Wonderful, thank you.
No, thank
I'll
you.
look-
That's
I'll
quite
look
an
for
honor.
it. I'll look for it. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, anybody else? See none? Anything good? Okay, I need a motion to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion by trustee Feichter, second by trustee Jeffrey Charles Frankie. Jen, can you call the roll, please?
Trustee Miller?
Aye.
Trustee Prochnow?
Aye.
Trustee Feichter?
Yes.
Trustee Frankie?
Yes.
Trustee Listener?
Aye.
Motion adjourned, passes 5-0. Folks, stay warm, stay safe, don't fall. Meeting
Aye.
adjourned.